Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or Holiday Bonus Millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-Offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC, and your daily reminder that the Reds are back at the top of the league. A 2-1 victory over Brighton and Hove Albion at the weekend, coupled with Manchester City losing away to Bournemouth, sends the Reds back to the top of the table, and it turned out to be pretty much a perfect weekend for Liverpool fans. We won, City lost, Arsenal lost, Everton lost, and United and Chelsea drew. So none of the teams we dislike won, and we won. Obviously, we made hard work of it. We went 1-0 down to Ferdi Kadioglu's goal on 14 minutes. Brighton, much the better team in the first half. In the second half, we came out with more energy, more aggression, more purpose. Still weren't controlling the game, but we had three really good chances early in that second half. You've got, obviously, the first Joe Gomez header. Then you've got the, I can't remember the order of them, the Mo Salah 1v1. He tries to lift it over the goalkeeper, who does well. And then you've got the Virgil chance where it's lifted over to him. And I think Darwin kind of gets in his way. But we got ourselves equal level with an equaliser from Cody Gakpo on 70. Let's be really honest. It's a fluke. It's a cross. I don't know if Darwin purposely ducks or if he's being shoved or whatever the situation is, but Darwin gets his head out of the way and the angle of the ball, the dip on the ball is perfect, gives the goalkeeper no chance. And it's 1-1, and then on 72 minutes, we are ahead. And this is all about Curtis Jones and then all about Mo Salah. So Curtis picks the ball up on the edge of our box, drives towards midfield, plays a great 1-2 with Luis Diaz, who does really well. Diaz then makes a very good run, which draws the attention of defenders. And what that means is that as Curtis picks that ball up again and he starts driving into space, Mo has a 1v1. Now, it's with Purvis Estupiñán, who's one of the best left-backs in the league, but Mo has a 1v1 and Estupiñán is backpedaling. He's not in a set position. He doesn't have cover inside him. He doesn't know what his covering situation is. He doesn't know where his centre-back is. You can see he has a glance. The centre-back is not there. That means he has to stop Mo 1v1. He doesn't have the comfort of over-committing somewhere. But once Mo gets that ball, Mo has one idea in his mind, and that is to cut inside and unleash all hell. He cuts inside and he plants that ball past Bart Verbruggen, who's a really good goalkeeper, and he's a big goalkeeper. And Mo gives him zero chance. It's a magnificent goal. It's worthy of winning any game. And we hung on for the win. Joe Gomez could have wrapped it up. He had another headed chance. But more notable than the two chances Joe misses, the performance he put in defensively. Ibu has been incredible this season, and Ibu was playing well on Saturday. Joe came on and was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And Joe coming on also coincided with Trent getting his shit together in this game, because in the first half, Trent was really poor, like really poor. On the ball, he couldn't complete a pass, and his defensive work was very, very lazy, let's say. Lack of effort, lack of intensity, poor body position, poor posture, poor fundamentals, poor positioning. Mitoma was having his way with him. And it didn't even look like Mitoma was breaking sweat. It reminded me of a game a couple of years ago where Mitoma absolutely destroyed Trent. But in the second half, it was a different Trent that we saw. It was the Trent that we've seen thus far this season. The one who has been locked in defensively. The one who has been switched on. Who's been aggressive. Who's putting in the work. Whose fundamentals are solid. That's the Trent that came out second half to such an extent that he completely nullified Mitoma in that second half. Mitoma eventually gets hooked. And when they bring on the replacement, it's Simon Adingra, who's a really good player and a really relentless dribbler. And he doesn't seem to want too much of Trent. Doesn't seem to want to take him on because he knows Trent is locked in. I thought that second half display from Trent was so impressive. Joe was so impressive. Virgil was Virgil. Did get caught out once, but I think it's just an incredible pass by Ayari. But he does well to get back and put off Ruder. Costas played well. I thought Costas played well. And his corners are the best of anybody in the squad. He takes the best corner in the squad. The midfield that started did not play well, none of them. Two of them were hooked, Alexis and Szoboszlai, but Gravenberch was poor as well. He had some moments in the second half, but overall just couldn't get any kind of foothold in the game. Curtis was very good when he came on, and Endo was good when he came on. Endo made a difference when he came on, breaking up play. Cody had a pretty poor first half, was getting a lot of the ball, wasn't doing anything with it. Didn't seem to have the same kind of confidence that he had during the week in the Brighton game. But second half, I thought he did come into it a lot more in terms of actually making things happen on the ball. Mo was good, we just didn't get him the ball enough. And Darwin, who had that brilliant moment in the first half where he flicked it over a defender's head and then drove 50 yards into their box for getting a good shot away, we just struggled to really get him involved. Conor Bradley came off the bench just to help see out the game, worked hard. Diaz came off the bench, obviously involved in the Salah goal, worked hard. You have to be happy with a result like this. You have to be. And it's, we're beginning to make Liverpool haven't played anyone yet, people seem a bit silly. Now, admittedly, we're yet to play anybody above us in the league, but, that's just a consequence of the fact that the Reds are top of the league and have only dropped points in 2 games. Now, myself and Matchett have a rule, and it's not like a hard and fast rule, but it is something to look at, that across a Premier League season, you can really and truly only afford to drop points in about 10 games. Now, I would actually say it's probably less. I would probably say it's probably 7 to 8. We've dropped points in 2. City are already at 3. Forest are at 5. Now, we know Forest are not winning the league, but Forest currently sit 3rd in the league. But Chelsea are at 5, Arsenal are at 5, Villa are at 5, Spurs are at 5, and then everybody else is 6 or more, bar Brentford, but they play tonight. They've dropped points in 5 games. Again, not going to win the league. Of the teams that have title-winning ambitions, Arsenal are at 5. They cannot afford many more slip-ups, and they're away to Chelsea next. Chelsea are at 5. They've got Arsenal next. Villa are at 5. They've got us next. I don't think Tottenham think they're going to win the league, but, they've got 5. And then Manchester United have already dropped points in 7 games. So I think it's fair to say we can rule out United, currently 13 points off top, as potential title contenders. But for us to be in this position after 10 league games is incredible. Now, the latest round of copium from Arsenal fans. So you've all seen the Arsenal fans on social media. Everything is somebody else's fault. If they lose a game, it's never because they weren't the better team. It's never because Arteta got it wrong. It's never because one of their players isn't as good as somebody else on a different team. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always the referees. It's always cheating against Arsenal. They couldn't possibly go up against a team that's just better than them. And it blows their little minds when you point out that maybe they're not all that good. Maybe they're good, but not that good. Maybe they're not a title-winning team. Maybe Lego Head himself is not a title-winning manager, doesn't have the minerals to go and win a Premier League, certainly never got close to winning one as a player. Doesn't look like he's got what it takes to win one as a manager right now, but he is still very young. But against Newcastle, they couldn't really come up with an excuse for why they lost. They just were flat out bad in the game. Arteta got things badly wrong and Newcastle took advantage. And without Martin Odegaard, there's no real creativity in the team because Bukayo Saka is a tremendous player, but he's a winger whose main creative action is crossing. He's not a great creative passer, which is where Odegaard shines. So, given they couldn't blame the defeat on somebody else other than themselves, they had to find a new thing to cope about. It had to be something else that could lift their moods. And these are the things that they've stumbled on. So their greatest fear was that City would beat Brentford and they'd be 8 points behind City. But since that didn't happen, it doesn't matter that they lost. Now, they are still 5 points behind City, but they're 7 points behind us. And when you factor in, we have a goal difference of plus 13, and they have a goal difference of plus 6, that's basically an extra point in our favour. That's an 8-point gap. They would have to pick up 8 points more than us across the next 28 games, which could happen, absolutely could happen, in order to overtake us in the league. That's one bit of copium, is that they're not overly concerned about us. City are the only ones they're worried about. So there's that. And the other bit is that all the pressure is on Liverpool. This is what they're trying to convince themselves of. All the pressure is on Liverpool. So let's break that down a little bit. Let's compare what's happened to both clubs in the last, let's say, since we won the title when they won the FA Cup, right? So we'll travel back to 2020. We win the title, they win the FA Cup. Since that time, they have spent the better part of £800 million on footballers. And we have spent less than half that. Okay? We have won 3 cups. The FA Cup and the League Cup twice. They have won nothing. We have been to a European Cup final. They have done nothing in Europe. We have finished second once. They finished second twice. However, if we look at the final tables, we finished second on 92 points, 1 point behind City. They finished second on 84 points, 5 points behind City. and on 89 points, 2 points behind City. So they haven't broken 90 points yet. And they haven't gotten within a point of City. In other seasons, because obviously there are other seasons to consider here, we finished third and they finished eighth. We finished second, they finished fifth. Then obviously they finished second, we finished fifth. They finished second, we finished third last season. Overall, across the 4 years, we have outperformed them in the league. We have taken, 8 points more than them, 23 points more than them, so that gives us 31. They finished 17 more than us that year, so that means 14 point advantage to us, and then they finished 7 points ahead of us last year. So we've taken 7 points more than them across the previous 4 seasons, and this season so far have taken 7 points more than them. So since the beginning of the 2021 season, we've taken 14 points more. But again, I refer you back to the fact that they've spent nearly 800 million on players. We've spent 400 million on players, and of course, or less than 400 million it might be. And the biggest factor of all is that they have the same manager for that entire time. We are in year 1 of a new manager. We are in year 1 of a new manager. And if you think back to the end of last season when City won the league, Arsenal fans were adamant we're going to win it next year. And throughout the summer, we had all the talking heads talking about how Arsenal were going to win the league this year, how they were the favourites to win the league this year. And what was the consensus view on Liverpool? Well, with Klopp gone, they're going to struggle. They probably won't even make top 4. Go back and look at the pre-season predictions, most of which have us finishing 5th or 6th. There is zero pressure on us. Absolutely none. Nobody expects us to win the league this year. We lost Jurgen Klopp in the summer. He's a top 3 or 4 manager on the planet. How could you possibly expect us to carry on with some bald man from the Netherlands? How could you expect us to improve? That's what you told us, that we were definitely going to fall off. That's what they told us all summer, was that we were going to fall off and they were going to win the league. But now, as we sit with a 7-point lead after 10 games, apparently all the pressure is on us. Just doesn't seem like it would be. Seems like all the pressure would be on you. Seems like all the pressure would be on your manager to deliver after spending 800 million thereabouts. Our manager has spent 10 million. 10 million. You paid that for your 6th choice centre-back. Actually, you paid nearly double that, but never mind. There is zero pressure on Liverpool to win the league this year. Zero. This is completely unexpected that we would be in this position after 10 games. 7 points ahead of Arsenal, with them having to go to Chelsea next. Now, they can say, well, we've had harder fixtures. All right, okay. Have they been that much harder, though? Really? What about your vaunted defence that's the best it's ever been? That's conceded 5 league goals more than us through 10 games. Why isn't that working as well? Oh, well, Saliba missed a game. Congrats. Congrats. It still wouldn't matter. You just aren't as good as you make yourselves out to be. And no matter how many times they tug on the testicles and try and tell you that we're the evil empire and that it's all the pressures on us, and if we don't win, we're bottling it. Never ever let it be forgotten that in the 22-23 season, Arsenal bottled the title in one of the most spectacular scenes in the history of English football. Never let it be said that people have forgotten what happened the year before, where they had a nailed-on top four finish and then bottled that as well. There is no pressure on us. We are in a great position. And if we beat Villa and they lose to Chelsea, that's 10 points. That's 10 points we will be ahead of them. And all of a sudden, I start to look at our fixtures and feel a little bit more confident about certain things. So if we beat Villa, we go into the international break, we come out of that break, we play Southampton. That's a game we would all expect to win. Now, after that, we've got 3 very tough games. However, City do not look particularly good. They look lost without Rodri. And all of a sudden, that game on December 1st at Anfield provides a big opportunity for us. We go and we win that game. Then we go to Newcastle a couple of nights later. What if we win that one? And then we beat Everton. And then our fixtures get a little bit easier. You're talking Fulham. Spurs will be tough enough. Leicester, West Ham, United. Admittedly, it'll be United under Amorim, but it's going to take time for him to make a big impact there. We go to see the Forest super team in January. Then it's Brentford. Then it's Ipswich. Bournemouth, Wolves. Like, if we can maintain a gap when we go to the Etihad in February, we'll have a cushion, we'll have a firewall, we'll have the ability to drop points and it not be catastrophic for us. And then it's Newcastle, it's Southampton, both at home, it's Villa away, it's the Ev at home, it's Fulham away, it's West Ham at home, it's Leicester away, and then you go into the last 5 games, and our last 5 are tough. Like, don't let anybody tell you they're not. Our last 5 are tough, but the 2 toughest games, I think, are both home. Tottenham and Arsenal. Now, in between them, we do get a visit. We go to Chelsea. After Arsenal, we go to Brighton, and we finish up with Crystal Palace at home on the final day. But all of a sudden, we open a 10-point lead on Arsenal. And I do have a feeling that this might be a season where City finish 3rd. I don't see Arsenal eroding that 10-point lead. And when they come to Anfield in May, maybe we have a big old party for them and show them what it is to win a Premier League title in the 2020s, like we showed them how to win one a few years ago. Isn't it funny that Arsenal haven't won a league title in 20 years? Now, I don't mean that in a disparaging way, really, because we went 30 years without a title. But, like, just think back. If you're old enough to have been, fully aware of the historical events of the 03-04 season, as Arsenal went unbeaten through the Premier League season, what kind of odds do you genuinely think you'd have gotten if you'd walked into William Hill or Paddy Power the day after Arsenal are crowned Premier League champions, unbeaten, and you said, I want to put money on Arsenal not to win a league title for 20 years? I reckon you probably would have got better odds than the fella that bet on Leicester to win the league. I think they probably would have given you 10,000 to 1 for that Arsenal team at that point in history. Remember, City weren't even on the horizon then. And we were kind of an afterthought as well. We were good, but we weren't going to win a title. It was City, it was Arsenal, it was United, and obviously Chelsea. But we didn't know to what extent Chelsea would cheat in the way that they did. But I reckon you would have got phenomenal odds on Arsenal to not win a title again for 20 years. And if you were to bet somebody at that time that Leicester City would win a title before Arsenal did again, it would have been even bigger odds. Admittedly, Leicester City won a title before we did in the Premier League era. But, you know, we're not talking about us. We're making fun of Arsenal. I should probably leave it at that. On This Is Anfield, there is a piece up about the potential lineups for tomorrow night's game ahead of Bayer Leverkusen. And the big news, the good news, is that Ibu Konate is training with the Liverpool team today. Now, I think I would probably start Joe Gomez. I think I would, just for that one, and then bring Ibu back for Villa. But no injury for Ibu. Whatever it was, it's been rectified and he's good to go. There's a piece about Virgil and there's a team that's helping him keep fit. So make sure you check out that one. Steven Gerrard was booed and told to get out by Al Ettifaq fans as things go sour in the Middle East for Stevie. Leverkusen stutter again as poor form continues before a big game at Anfield. Long may that continue. We'll happily take the points. Liverpool scouting 2 Premier League forwards. One is Brian Mbeumo, the other is Antoine Semenyo. I do think I'd be more interested in Semenyo personally, but Mbeumo's a good player without question. Ben Doak out with injury fatigue or fatigue injury. That's not a great sign, but he is a kid and he is just back from a long-term knee injury, so it's probably just about maintenance and such. On AnfieldIndex.com, Real Madrid could drop their interest in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Give that a read. Liverpool could sign the next Luka Modric, that is Andrea Maximovic, who does look a hell of a talent. There's a piece about Karim Adeyemi, and we are being linked with him again. A piece about Rayane Nouri, who's being linked again, and a piece about Mo. Give all of those a read. Podcast-wise, there is the Boxac briefing from over the weekend after the game against Brighton. There is the post-match roll, which is Guy Drinkle stepping in for Trev, myself, and Mo Chatra. There is the final whistle pod, which is Nina and Ben Postcod. Give that one a listen. They do that after the big game finishes on a Sunday, and they go through all the action over the weekend. So give that one a go. And today we have the new Media Matters with David Lynch. So do check that one out. There is a Scouted being recorded this evening. There will be an Under Pressure recorded this evening. We'll obviously have Raw tomorrow. There will be a Euro Incision later in the week, and there will be the press conference podcasts as usual. So that's it. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. And remember, mock a gooner. It's funny. Bottle those tears up and I'll sell them on my Etsy shop. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.